gives them $1.5 billion to manage the family, $1.5 billion, and then he's supposed to negotiate. Let me tell you, it's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So,
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
We can't verify.
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
And you're out
so
there.
Why don't you?
This is a big deal. I mean, it's shocking to me that this is not receiving more coverage in the press. I don't think any of the Sunday shows mentioned it. But what we're talking about here is not simply this, the probe using data scientists to make up a story or links to between Trump and Russia, but the White House. Apparently, there was a private company that had a contract to manage servers for the President of the United States and the White House, and they were sharing information to help build a narrative for a political operation. And you know why? If this is all proven true, it would be one of the biggest political scandals in American history. It would be a crime, no doubt about it. And it would tell you why these people think they can get away with it. They think they can get away with it because the media will not report on it. If this was the other way, if this was a story about how the Trump campaign had hired some data experts and others to go out there and do this to a President Clinton, this would be like we wouldn't be able to talk about anything else around here.
Bogus claims of spying on the president's campaign.
The QAnon through things like 9/11 trutherism, the Barack Obama birth certificate conspiracy theory, the Trump Spygate stuff.
Hillary Clinton was running a campaign. Donald Trump was running a campaign. Donald Trump was, using the email scandal against Hillary Clinton. And I'm sure if Hillary Clinton thought that there were links between Trump and Russia, if they could find out, what those links were, that's part of it.
I'm not going to go down this road too much because I know you haven't read all the filings, but we're talking about here a campaign that infiltrates a computer system and creates a narrative and then does so, according to this filing, for the president-elect of the United States. That's a different kettle of fish, isn't it, Congressman? And if you go back and you look at what was being said at the time and how many people were saying Russia, Russia, Russia in the coverage, if you look in the context of this filing, it's a much different thing. I get your preamble. We're covering all of that and the concerns that are facing this country. But this is a big deal, isn't it?
Well, again, and I will sort of reverse Rubio. Let's see. I don't know. This is alleged. We got to go in and figure out exactly what is there, because this will be one area where I will disagree with Senator Rubio. The idea of making stuff up about your political opponents is in no way unique to those who oppose Donald Trump. This has happened repeatedly in both directions. So I'm going to figure out exactly what's going on here before commenting on the current speculation.
One of the things that we were trying to explain to the press was this isn't just about hacking and leaking emails. This is about a larger information effort by the Russians.
Is that spying?
Again, I can't speak to that report. I refer you to the Department of Justice.
Generally speaking, that with monitoring internet traffic.
Jackie, my answer is not going to change. I refer you to the Department of Justice. I can't speak to that.
So we'll have to make it quick so that I can get on to my Valentine's Day duties. But this is very significant, what we're seeing from the Durham indictments. And I'm old enough to remember when you had the mainstream media and the left accusing Donald Trump of being a Russian agent. And they said that I was Putin's lawyer and worse. And yet here now, we have the evidence that we were right all along, reflected in these indictments, where the very people who were working alongside the Hillary Clinton campaign were seeding lies with Russians who had connections to the Russian intelligence apparatus. And then this was what they linked it to. Their effort to spy on the Trump campaign at Trump Tower, their effort to spy on the activities at the White House. And it was all to push something that was totally false. It was an attack on the presidency. And it's just quite something to hear these folks say that we're the insurrectionists, that we're the threats to democracy, when it was the political left willing to work with an adversarial foreign country to destabilize the Trump presidency.
Some, including Trump, are calling this worse than Watergate. This appears much worse than Watergate and much more ongoing, right?
The former president correctly observes that we're not at a time now where that would happen. And, that's because we've become more tolerant of these sophisticated spying operations. I mean, we just recently saw information about the CIA's collection of bulk data without obtaining a warrant, without going through the normal process that would adhere to our constitutional norms. But here specifically, it does appear that the crimes are worse than Watergate. They have a higher acuity, they have a higher sophistication. They're literally targeting the operations of the White House itself, and all to spread this lie that somehow Donald Trump was compromised by Russia. And, you know, for those that are watching the globe right now, we might take note that Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea when Obama was president. Vladimir Putin may invade Ukraine with Joe Biden as president, but there wasn't that stuff happening when Donald Trump was president, and yet they were doing all of this to try to smear Trump and to try to threat construct around Russia. Maybe the Trump years were some of the best relations that we had with Russia.